Hey, it's Chris Doyle at Alderman Chevrolet Buick GMC, Vermont's favorite car dealership. Want to congratulate you on your new Chevy Bolt EV. A couple things I want to go over. There's so many things to talk about this terrific car, but I just want to kind of give you a little bit of an overview of it. This happens to be the EVLT, and a lot of things are going to apply to both cars. I want to start with that key fob. Now you can lock and unlock it just like every other car out there. You do have what you'd call a remote start in other vehicles. It's a preconditioning in the Bolt EV because it's electric. So you're really just conditioning the inside for yourself, making sure it's warmed up or cooled down to something that's comfortable for you. I want to take a look here at the inside. A couple things that I want to go over. First of all, let's hop on inside. I have the car up and running because it's a warm day as I'm filming this. And a couple of things that I want to point out. First, the basics. Your power windows, of course. Power mirrors, left and right. Take the time, if you like, to adjust it so that it's set up comfortably for yourself. And hey, while you're at it, might as well adjust that mirror too. Just about all these mirrors are going to be auto dimming. That comes along with your heated steering wheel. Heated seats too, you're going to have both. And of course, we're going to have not only our cruise control here, but over on the right side, you're going to have your Bluetooth controls, push to talk and hang up, and all of your controls here for the driver information center. That'll determine what you see right up here. Now, this kind of gives you an idea of what to expect. Your range over here, we're not quite fully charged. It will be. This is 209 miles right now, for example. There's a minimum and a maximum, and what that's going to do is that's going to be based on how you drive the car, on where you drive the car, how you use your climate control system, and what kind of temperature you have outside too. It's a smart system, figures all of those out so that it can give you a best case and a worst case scenario at any given time. Oh, and by the way, if you take a look over here, that's how much energy you're using at any given time. There's a yellow bar that rises and then a green bar that falls. That means it is recharging. You're not using any electricity at all, and you're about to see that there is a lot of opportunity for this car to recharge itself. It wants to do it all the time. How do you actually do that? Well, let's take a look at that electronic precision shifter that we're talking about. We're in park. How do I shift it? There's a little button right here on the side. Press that in, down one, now I'm in drive. Drives like every other car. Take your foot off the accelerator, it coasts. Recharges the battery. Now if I put it one more time for L in low gear in this car means that when you take your foot off the accelerator, instead of coasting, it's going to brake. Not sharply, but it's going to be a good, strong enough, consistent braking mechanism that will recharge the battery even more. And it allows you to do what's called one-pedal driving, which means you don't even have to take your foot off the accelerator. You just feather it, and this car will actually coast, brake, down to a complete stop. Really cool feature, stretches out the battery even more, especially in the winter. Want to go in reverse, up and to the left, and our really cool backup camera comes on. Huge 10-inch display here, big color display. And then if you want to go into park, just tap P for park from anywhere. There's your parking brake too, also electronic right next to it. Let's take a look up here. We've got our sport mode, a little silly, admittedly, because it's a very fast car otherwise, but if you want to go even faster, there it is. It just will use a little bit more electricity. Climate control system, automatic climate control in all Bolts. Now you can do anything you want manually, but I do recommend the automatic. Pick your temperature and then let the car do the rest. Controls for volume. There you go. Changing your channel either side. And this is for your home page, which is what I've got on the big main color touch screen. A little bit of everything. We've got our radio. We've got information on the last full charge. Bluetooth information. I don't have anything paired yet, but we will shortly. Lots of things that you can bring up here. You can pair your phones. Bluetooth for phone and music. Projection, that's Apple CarPlay if you have an iPhone. And Android Auto if you've got, like I do, an Android. All you have to do is plug it in. There you go. 2 different USB ports. Take your pick. Plug it in. And all of a sudden, on your screen, you're going to have direct access to a whole bunch of things on your phone. Your music, your contacts. If you have podcasts or audiobooks, you probably have Google Maps or Apple Maps or Waze. They're all free apps, navigation apps that will show up on this screen. So now you have built-in touch screen, voice-controlled navigation. In fact, it's the only way to get navigation in a Bolt. Works a whole lot better than the old-fashioned kind. Lots of things that can come up on this screen. I'm going to go to audio here because that's probably what most people are going to be listening to here. Change your source. Satellite radio comes standard with all of the Bolts. Very easy to use, and a system that is particularly designed for the Bolt, so it doesn't use a whole lot of electricity, but still sounds great. Now, the other thing I want to show you here is this little energy button, because again, this is an electric vehicle. So let's show a couple things here. If I go to my little main page, you can see flow, you can see charging information. There are 3 different ways that you can charge this car. You can charge it via level 1 charging. I'm going to show you that port here in just a minute on the outside of the car. That's where you plug it into a grounded 3-prong outlet at home. Easy. Going to charge about 4 miles for every hour that it's plugged in. Level 2 charging, much better way to do it for a Bolt. 25 miles for every hour that it's plugged in. You have level 3 charging as well. That's called DC fast charging, and that is going to be very quick. That is going to be 90 miles for the first half hour that it's plugged in, about 150 miles for the first hour. Now that you're only going to find municipal chargers, commercial chargers, that kind of thing. But lots of different ways to do it. Now, if you are plugged in, you may just have the cord. Maybe you're just going to do immediate charging. Plug it in and let it go. You may want to use departure charging though. That will actually allow you to determine when you want it charged by every single day of the week. A really nice feature to have, especially if the car is going to be parked in an unheated garage or outside, because that way, not only will everything be done at the right time, but the battery will be at the right temperature. And hey, maybe Thursday morning at 7 a.m., you may decide at 6:52 you want to warm up the car. That's that preconditioning that we were talking about. Well, sure, you can do it inside if you want, no fumes, but either way, much more efficient to warm up the car while it's still plugged in and still charging. So lots of different ways that you can kind of set everything up for yourself here. The only other thing that I want to point out, because it's a really neat feature to have here, and that's what's called target charge level. I'm going to open this up for us. Now, would you actually want to charge the car not all the way to 100%? Believe it or not, yes, because this is a car, again, that is always trying to recharge itself as you drive. It is very efficient. So if you get in this car on a full charge and start driving in the morning, you're going down a hill, you're braking, you're doing the normal kind of driving everybody does. There's no way for that electricity to go if you've already fully charged it. So hey, maybe you only say 75% of a charge, because most folks aren't going to drive 200 miles every given day. Charge it all the way if you want to, if you're about to take a long trip. But if you're like me or like most people and you drive 30, 40, 50 miles a day, maybe you don't want to charge it all the way. You'll spend less money on charging. You'll let the Bolt do most of the work. Really cool feature. So I'm going to bring this right back here to our little home page here. A couple other things that I want to show you. First, here in the back, if you go into the rear, lots of room, lots of leg room, lots of headroom, and a lot of space overall. So let's take a look here in the back. Just one thing that I want to point out to you, these headrests, they do flip up. You put them in the up position for safety if you've got somebody sitting in the back and they're going to need the room, or just hit the button, knock them down. Flattens them out a little bit. If you've got nobody sitting back there, you've got even better visibility here in the back. And then the one fast thing I'm going to show you here, when you're taking a look back here, surprising amount of space in the trunk. Very, very deep. Underneath, I'm going to lift this up, there's your level 1 charger. So that's what you're going to plug into if you're just using the standard charger. You get that for free, comes along with the car. And speaking of charging, let's show you that as well. So here's that port over here. I'm going to open this up. That's what you're going to use for the level 1 charger if you're plugging into just a regular old household outlet. Also, the same port you'll use for the level 2 charger. That level 3, that DC fast charging, requires all of this. So just fold that little orange flap down. It plugs into everything. Either way, very, very safe. Oh, and one really cool thing about that, it's not doing anything right now because nothing's in there, but you see that little sensor there? That is actually going to flash when you're charging, so you can get a good idea of what you're looking at. but it'll flashes once every few seconds. That's less than 25% charged. If it's 2, that's going to be 25 to 50%. 3 is going to be 50 to 75%. 4 is 75 to 99%, and if it just glows green and doesn't flash at all, it means that you're fully charged. So again, a little bit of a brief outline of what to expect. Couple of features in this vehicle, lots of stuff to have fun with. We really hope that you enjoy your new car. It is an absolute blast. Really, it is the technology of the future, and we thank you for doing business with us.